New York's story begins long before paper, but when written records became more widespread, so did the need to collect and preserve them. Correspondence, contracts, maps, vital records, and more. These records protect your rights, hold government accountable, and tell the story of New York. So where does it all go? And how do we know where to put it? In this episode of This Is How We Do It, we're taking you on a tour through the filing cabinet of history and following a paper trail as great as New York State. Perfect.
Yeah, okay.
All right, let me change.
All right, so cut it.
So we're here with Keith here at the SRC. And Keith, what exactly is the mission here and what do you do?
Sure, the State Records Center stores, retrieves, and manages, along with state agencies, about 230 to 250,000 boxes of paper records. We are authorized to store them here for their period of inactivity. So that means basically that the agencies don't have an active business need for them.
Okay.
But the records have to be retained for the duration of their legally mandated retention schedule. So that means they have to be kept here until their legal, fiscal, administrative values have been met. And sometimes with records that have a permanent historical value, those will actually be transferred to the New York State Archives proper, where they'll be made available for researchers into the future. We work with state agencies to help them determine what records they want to transfer to us. They complete what's called a transfer list form. Before that even happens, though, we work with state agencies to make sure that they're applying the correct retention schedule items to their records, to ensure that the boxes that are being brought into the Record Center are being kept here for the correct length of time. So sometimes boxes have to be kept for only, say, 3 years. Sometimes they have to be kept here for the life of a structure. Sometimes, as I mentioned before, they have to be sent to the state archives eventually for permanent historical retention. Most of the records stored here eventually will get sent for confidential destruction. We have a vendor that handles that process. These records have extremely vital documentation in them that protects rights of citizens, their interactions with state governments. So there are records here that document education, health, public safety, transportation, and so forth. These records have to be kept for a legally mandated time, and it could happen that somebody needs to call up these records for an important court case or some other matter of public safety. So we take our job very seriously in providing a quick, accurate turnaround time to state agencies.
All right, so we're here inside a vault and I'm with Monica here at the SRC. And Monica, what are we doing in here?
If you're going to operate as a state agency and meet your mission effectively, you need to create and maintain a lot of records. For example, I can't remember everything. I can't remember everything I did last week. So I need my documentation to inform my decisions going forward about how I meet the agency's goals. And there's a lot of other documentation, like instructions to staff that impact the public, or policy formulation that we need to retain going forward to show how our programs operate and how we need to interpret the laws and regulation. That adds up to a lot of content over time. And some of that we keep in-house, but we don't have room for everything. And that's why state agencies rely on the State Records Center.
Interesting, and it's not just paper format either. We got a whole wall of microfilm here as well. So,
and microfilm is fantastic when you store it correctly. And a lot of agencies over the decades have stored records on microfilm for just that reason. Because one roll of microfilm can have the same number of records as one box of records and take up so much less space.
hey John, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good, just coming back from the SRC. Sorry this took so long.
Quite all right.
Box.
Welcome to the State Archives.
Yeah, so just curious. So once I bring this box here, what do you guys do with the documents?
Well, what happens is, this is called the accessioning room, and this is where
Okay.
all records that come to the State Archives land. And when they get here, we record basic information about their contents, their format, the quantity of records, who created them, basic information so that researchers will know that we have the records and know that they can access them here. We create container lists so people can find things in those records. We create indexes. If there's any sort of physical damage to the records or they need to be repaired, we assess that when they come here and get them ready for moving into the stacks.
And now that we know what happens in the accessioning room, is it cool if we go check out the stacks?
Absolutely, let's go.
All right. All right, should have totally brought a jacket here.
Yeah, welcome to the stacks. This is our humidity and temperature controlled storage area at the State Archives. This is where we keep a majority of the collection. It's about 180,000 boxes worth of material, which is kind of an abstract number, but if you stack them end to end, it's about 26 miles worth of records. So we like to think we've got over a marathon worth of records here at the State Archives.
Obviously, if you said 26 miles worth of documents, that is a lot, and it looks like these stacks do move too. And how exactly do they move? Because it looks like a...
Yeah, these are compact mobile shelving. So if you crank on these, you can move the whole row, and it just allows us to get an awful lot more stuff in a relatively small space.
When they come here, they stay here.
Yep, these are permanent records. They go through a process called appraisal, where a group of archivists decide what to keep, what not to keep. And once they decide they're permanent records, they're archival records, they come here for permanent retention.
All right, so it looks like we found our way here at the research area at the New York State Archives.
Yes, welcome to the research room. This is a shared space between the New York State Library, Division of Manuscripts and Special Collections, and the New York State Archives. We are here, open to the public, Monday through Friday from 9:30 in the morning until 4 in the afternoon. We ask that researchers get in touch with us ahead of time. Send us an email, just let us know what they're looking to use. We'll pull that stuff out of the stacks and make it available for them here in the research room.
Thank you so much. I'll definitely be giving you a call. I got a long lost cousin I've been looking for my whole life. So
Great, we'll help you track them down.
thank you.